On the firm instructions of Paul Biya, President of the Republic of Cameroon, through the Secretary General at the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo, the 33% controversial tax on phones and tablets was suspended. In a release signed on October 19, 2020, Gongo suspended the collection of the tax. Paul Biya instructed Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute to suggest and submit a more appropriate way of collecting the said tax. Cameroonians, including some lawmakers, took to the social media to call for an end to the phone tax. Honorable NOURAN FOTSI, MP for Wuri East constituency, is one of those who hit hard on the government regarding the new customs reforms. She talks to the agenda. Honorable NOURAN FOTSI, thank you so much for accepting to be part of this edition of the agenda. I must confess, it was not easy having you. Thank God for honoring our invitation.
I'm the one who's honored, actually. Thank you so much for having me with you.
Okay, Honorable, this is the first time we are having you on the agenda of My Media Prime Television. It will be of interest to our million televiewers and young Cameroonians or youths who are watching us at this time to have you walk us through your educational, political, and professional backgrounds.
Okay. Well, I did my primary studies in Egypt, then we came to Cameroon, where I did my secondary studies at Boya, actually, lycée bilingue Boya, the LBB. And then I came to Douala, where I did a bachelor degree in law. Then I had also a degree, a bachelor still again, in marketing at the British Council, actually. So this is my background.
It's about the political career, like you already mentioned.
My political career, let's say, well, everything started. I was very young. I got interested in politics very young. I think I was like at Form 3 at that time, and I had that talk with my dad and was like, what is going on TV? It was National Assembly, actually, and I was like, what is it? What is it actually? And he was trying to explain to me everything and how important National Assembly was for my country. I think that's when I really opened my eyes on politics, and then I forgot about it for a long time ago. And then when I got to meet Gabriel Libby in 2018, that's when my interest in politics came back. And I realized that, wow, this is a young man, 38 years, who is going for presidential election. That was huge. And then I realized that, okay, maybe youth can really get and take interest in the political decision of this country and participate. And then we went to do the whole 2 weeks of the presidential campaign all over the country. And it was quite interesting. I got to discover our country, I got to discover people, and to realize people really, how people suffer all over, and how we can really be of good help to the country. So that's how after 2018, when I just got like really that, okay, I have to do something also about it. And under Gabriel Libby, it was like, I have to participate. It's important for my country. I have to be an actor and not somebody who just sit there and watch.
Okay, Honorable, you are one of the youngest MPs, if not the youngest.
I'm one of the youngest.
In Parliament in Cameroon, and you equally have a huge following on the social media network. You call yourself the audacious choice for Wuri East constituency.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is what the main, how do you call that, slogan? In 2020, actually made by the national our party, and I thought it was something very clever, and I tried to really to make it my own, and to make people feel that I'm not only a choice, but I'm a good choice. So this is an audacious choice because I was a young person going to election, was not a huge background of politics. But I think people they took risk, voting for me. So it's very audacious, yeah.
And this audacity is what probably pushed you during one of the plenary sitting at Parliament, where you believed that the government of Cameroon did not actually implement the barrier measures put in place to protect its citizens from the deadly coronavirus pandemic. You decided to stay out of Parliament.
Yeah, actually I did that on the first day that it has been confirmed. The corona have been confirmed in Cameroon, because I thought that, I think as a National Assembly and as people who have to lead by good example, it has not been done actually, and we have always been accused of being careless when it comes to measure and real statement in this country. So I made the choice not to go until the National Assembly takes all the measure to respect that.
And the audacity continues. We've seen you lambasted the state media, the CRTV, which is being sponsored by citizens with taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
You're a representative that you are in Parliament representing them. You criticize the state broadcaster.
Yeah.
And many people think that your outing was not prompt or necessary at that particular time.
Who are you talking about? Because I think the whole country was on my side. So I think I just said too loud what people will think.
Yeah, it was concerning the phone tax, and normally, according to what you believe, the national or the state broadcaster was supposed to inform citizens, most of whom are young people, who are supposed to purchase these mobile phones. And you think that the CRTV, the Cameroon Radio Television, was not doing what it was supposed to do to inform these young people?
Well, actually, I was doing a broadcast on my Facebook. That means it was a live, which was about a whole 1 hour. And then somebody just found it very funny to just take those 40 seconds on the CRTV statement. And actually, what I was saying was that we have to be informed about what's going on in our country. Is very important, and especially us youth. And unfortunately, young people don't really follow CRTV news, and they don't really.
Some people think you are unpatriotic.
I'm very
patriotic. What do you have to tell those people?
And I told them that somebody who loves, when you love something, you just want the best, and that's what I want for the CRTV. I want just the best for the CRTV.
Okay, Honorable, let's talk about the phone tax now, which the Presidency of the Republic, through the Secretary General Ferdinand Gongo, just issued a release suspending the tax, as well as instructing the Prime Minister of Cameroon, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, to look for a possible or a more, understanding and compromising means through which this tax can be retrieved. Do you sincerely think that Cameroonians will need this tax?
The tax is not a new thing, actually. The tax has been there for a long time, for years, It's just that the way they want to get that tax, that is really strange and new. Because this tax, it's that the 33% has been there for a long time. It's just that now, as they cannot get it, actually, because mobile phones comes inside Cameroon without the custom knowing, So it's something that they don't take any custom on it. So to make it possible now, they decided to make the customer to pay directly for that, which is not normal actually, because the person who imports those phones have more money, is more powerful, and should pay. How comes that from now on people should be paying?
That consumers are always the one paying. So
consumers
those tax, value-added tax and other taxes.
Consumers are always the one paying. Always, for everything you buy, even the beer that you drink, you always pay the tax for it in it. But the problem is that you don't know. By the time you are purchasing that beer for 500 or 600 francs, you don't know that you are paying beer. And that's something that people really care about it. But if somebody comes in to buy his beer and you say, no, beer is normally 600, but now you are going to pay plus 200 francs for the custom. For a normal person who said, why should I do that? But what many Cameroonians don't know, that everything they consume, they already pay tax on that. But the way, and there's also something very interesting, is that when somebody brings the phone, you don't even know how does the phone really cost in the beginning. Till you get, that means the person who brings the phone, he can sell it for 100,000, he can sell it for 200,000, you will never know what is the initial price. So the person who may tell you that he didn't pay the tax, or he did pay the tax, how will you verify that the price of that phone is with or without the tax? Did he even care about removing the tax money when he's selling you the phone? The same phone that he used to sell for 100,000, he will still sell it for 100,000, but you will have to pay on top of that the 33%, which is too much, So I believe the strategy should be the people who bring those phones inside Cameroon, that should be the one paying, not the final consumer.
How would you ensure the market price? You're a lawmaker. If you were to propose in parliament that those people who import phones into Cameroon, they have to pay, how would consumers be free of the tax? Would they not see inflate? They are business people and their aim is to make money.
Of course, they have to run after the opportunity. Even me, if I was in that case, I would still do the same thing. I would just bring my phone, sell for 100,000 and still say that and then you, the customer, you still have to pay that 33%. For me, I think one way very important to pay this, to be sure that people pay this tax, I mean, the people who import those phones, is to control. I think the custom have to control what's coming on inside the Cameroon, because it's scary actually.
Corruption at the level of custom.
Yeah, and it is scary.
Are crying every day.
It is scary because if you cannot control what's coming on inside the country, then that's a huge problem. I'm not against paying the custom. You have to know that very well. I'm against the way that's been used to pay that custom. They have to pay that custom. People import iPhones for billions. You don't even realize. Like, you have a small bag. Like, I have a friend who does that business. A small bag like this of phones is about already 150 million. You don't see the bag, but it's 150 million. It's scary. The business of, as I just heard from the custom, that Cameroon import about 4 million phones every year, and no tax have been paid. Actually, they collect about 100 million tax every month, compared to 2002 or 2000, where they used to collect 3 billion per month. Have you seen the gap? It's crazy. That means there is no control.
It's very scary, and many Cameroonians are still worried. You know, this convention or this deal that was signed between Cameroon government and European Union, where goods manufactured at the level of the European Union have to come into the country, customs or duty free.
Yeah.
How do you explain this? We want to impose 33% on phones. Meanwhile, products coming in from Europe is custom free.
Well, how do you qualify that by yourself? Tell me. Answer for your own question.
Isn't
that scary?
You lawmakers, you the ones who have the knife and the arm to decide.
I have to tell you something. Those laws have been taken before that I arrived to the National Assembly, before my president Cabral arrived to the National Assembly. All those who have been taken before us. That means 2019 and before that. We just arrived 2020, and I think that since we are here, me and my colleagues from the PCRN, since we are here, we are trying to do our best to let people know what's going on. If we were the one there by 2019 when those laws have been proposed, I think we would have talked about a lot and do our best for them not to go through, although we are still so few.
Well, majority in parliament, yeah, still too small, but
notwithstanding
your voices.
We have big voice. We are small, but we have very big voice. Yeah.
Okay, Honorable, let me come back. I will still come back to this issue of your outing. Some of your colleagues of the opposition, they think that your outing was not a good one.
That's why there are real people who are from opposition, and there are people who think that, they make people think that they are from opposition, but they are not actually. And I think for his special case, he's somebody who's dead politically, and he has to get to be known on. I really mean it. That means he doesn't really exist politically. I did in few months what he'd never been able to do in years. I would say even 10 years, because he participated to the presidential election in 2011. That means he's there for a long time ago, but what I did in few months, he couldn't do it in years. So when somebody is unable and have been trying to fool the population for a long time, it's very normal for him to get some like, to get some attention while talking about me, because I'm the actuality. As all my colleagues from the PCRN, we are actuality.
Let me call it problem in quote. Is your problem in quote the perception that many people have of the state broadcaster that is a state propaganda machinery for the CBDM, or your problem is really the reform that you want to see?
No, the only problem I have with the CRTV is the quality of the program. I'm talking about the image, I'm talking about the quality of the programs there, because I think that they doesn't really interest the youth. and the youth are the most people who watch the TV. So we always go to other. I mean, the CRTV news is very interesting. You know, even me myself, I get to watch it every time. But the thing that there's some programs that they are too old and they have to be renewed actually. So that's it. I think also CRT have very good and excellent journalists over there. I think they have even the best in Cameroon. But sometimes they are not given the opportunity to express themselves and to propose new things there. I think the problem of TRTV is more about new things going there, new programs, new ideas, more creativity than other things. I don't think it's the quality of the journalism.
Program that you're a patriotic Cameroon. The perception that some people have about you was wrong. You were just trying to push for reforms.
Always patriotic. Always. This is my main reason. Always. This is not new. And people who know me, they know that I am patriotic. Very patriotic even.
Honorable, we've seen you in several communities across the national territory where you are trying to empower young Cameroonians, most of whom have indulged themselves in agricultural production, livestock and all that. What explains this love for these young people? We see you rare. We see some MPs. It's rare to see some MP do what you're doing in most of these communities.
Well, I think
where do you get the funding? Just the micrograms that you're able to do what you're doing?
It's not always about the funding, you know. It's more about the quality of the engagement that you have. This is for me and for all my colleagues.
Today,
from
500 this way. The other day, you have 300 youths you are empowering this way. Where do you get that from?
It's only the quality of my engagement. I think you don't need money to do a lot of things because we don't have money in my part. We don't have money. But we have ideas, we have good ideologies, we have energy, you know, and we have very good creativity because we are youth and we always empower. And I think that you don't need money to make everything possible. What you need is it's coming more from your heart than anything else, and that's very important. So it's not a matter of money because I don't have more money than people who are in front of me, but I think I have more creativity and more.
November session of Parliament is not far from now.
Yeah.
You receive close to 300 or over 300 youths today for them to come propose to you what you have to take to Parliament. Can you share with us some of those things,
well,
the worries of the youths?
For the youth, it's not more about what I have to take for the Parliament. People have more realistic problem, and this is something very something we have really to worry about, because youth who come here to see me, it's not about the decision that I take at the Parliament. People who come to see me, they are more worried about themselves, about their future, you know. So they come with projects, they come with problems, they come with worries. Actually, it's more like me, they come for the problem of the IDPs, for example. They come for the problem of orphanage, and they come for women who have a problem, for the empowerment, and a lot of projects actually. So that shows us one more time that young people, they are not interested by the political life of Cameroon, because they know that they cannot cope with it, because the government, the country doesn't give them the chance to explain themselves. That's why I believe, I'm a hope, and as somebody who can really get people to, youth in fact, to be more interested in the political life of the Cameroon. So if you want to know what people come to talk to me about, it's more about their personal problem than anything else, which shows that they need a ear to listen and somebody to help them with the problem.
Honorable, you hardly spend a week in Douala, where you're resident, you equally are married with children.
Yes.
You're always traveling. How do you blend your professional, political and business schedule to be able to cope?
Well, I would say that I'm just well surrounded, you know. I have good people around me, people who help me every day. My husband is he's an exceptional man, and I think I've been very lucky to have them in my life. It was in my family, everybody are there to support me, and that's how I manage. It's not the first time. I mean, I always had this life for a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you succeeding?
I'm succeeding because I'm honest, and I'm well surrounded. I know to choose around me.
Okay, let's come back to the tax. The tax on mobile phones in the country. the presidency has instructed that the prime minister should look for a more convincing way through which this tax, this tax, I'm still coming, this tax could be collected from citizens in the country. The question now is that, do you not have the impression, like other Cameroonians, that there is a foul play, or probably they sense danger coming from the part of the youths who constitute the majority? That's the reason why they suspended it for a while.
Well, you know, whatever the reason is, it's a good reason, because it made the president of the republic to be on the side of the population, which is very interesting and very important, you know. I think everybody have contribute to that. When it comes to Cabral Libby, with all he has done, when it comes to my colleagues, when it comes to other people from the civil society, I think everybody have tried to contribute really to make this decision to be suspended for a certain time, because you know you cannot stop execution of a law. Actually, it's not possible in the country, but it can be just suspended for a certain time. So
yeah, so the finance law, because this is emanating from the finance law that you did mention.
Yeah.
And apparently government has exhausted all its fiscal way through which it gets revenue, like borrowing and the taxation. What other means do you think government should have been thinking about, so that the what they call caisse de l'État, or the public treasury, should not be dry?
To help people to create employment. That's it. The more people work, the more they pay taxes, the more. That's how really the country does. And that's how it's done all over the world. We also have to be able to sell what we have in our country abroad, you know, to bring those this income that we are really in need of. Like, we are really rich when it comes to, I don't know how you call that in English, la bauxite, for example.
Yeah,
bauxite. We are the third all over the world. The third country where you can find that. I mean, we have.
This goes back now to education. Our educational system is not geared towards probably technology or professionalism.
I don't know.
Have this expertise to be exploring or exploiting.
It's not something that we don't know. If we know that we are the third, that means we know very well what we have. It's just like some people don't want some things to be done. Actually, we have good things. Not only that, we have also our culture that is almost non-existent. You know that we only use 4% of our potential. This is something to worry about when everybody is trying to, like Ivory Coast, Ghana, they are really trying to improve their agricultural field, because they know that this is the future. I mean, everybody is going, whatever it's going to take, we are going to still produce, you know. When it comes to fishing, as I just did this training session with those youth, we are importing a lot of fish in Cameroon, or we can still produce that, you know. So this is those are things that we really have to work about, that the country have to work about. What I can do is to try to push, but that's all I can do. The government have to take its responsibilities.
Let's talk about this issue of corruption. Recently, we had reports of over 36.2 billion francs embezzled in 3 months at the level of the Ministry of Finance in Cameroon. Mm-hmm. And recently, the World Bank just published a report putting Cameroon as Africa's most indebted country to China, with over 6,000 billion francs CFA.
Yeah.
What a paradox.
Yeah.
6,000 billion francs CFA.
Yeah.
What a paradox.
We are poor. What should I tell you? We borrow money because we are not able to how can I say it, to make our own money. Actually, that's why we have to borrow. That's it. And for the embezzlement, this is something very crazy, because I wonder who really does the control. It's really curious. How can the money just disappear?
36.2
billion
within 15 months, not up to 2 years, 1 year plus.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
But we cry that the caisse de l'État is empty.
It's empty.
So you, as a parliamentarian, you'll be going back to parliament in November. Those are some of the worries that people will expect, or those who voted for you will be expecting.
Well, actually, we are going back for November session. Is going to be mostly about the budget of Cameroon. So I think a lot of questions are going to come out, and it's going to be quite interesting to follow up.
Honorable NOURAN, FOTSI, thank you so much for accepting to be part of this edition of the agenda.
You're welcome.
We are glad you honor our invitation.
It's my pleasure, actually, and I hope you're gonna have me more on your on your
Certainly,
agenda.
certainly, we are open. We always receive you any moment. You are free. You have the time to talk to us.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
À partir du 1er août 2020, BT Media sera encore plus mieux. Nous irons plus loin avec des images plus claires. Nos chaînes My Media Prime, My Movie Africa, French and English, My Music Africa, My